The Envision team have implemented a number of straightforward methods to import diagrams and data from other products. The most common drawing type imported into Envision is a BPMN diagram drawn in Microsoft Visio. It's a simple 5-step process for the user to import these diagrams. Step 1. Create an empty Envision diagram. Step 2. Load the Visio diagram. Step 3. Match the fields. Envision then automatically imports the Visio diagram. Finally, view the BPMN diagram in Envision. Edit it, if required. Then, check in the diagram so that it becomes available for all authorized users. If you want to see how to set up new mapping rules, import from different sources, or if you want to see how to export an Envision diagram, then you should view other import and export videos in this series. Step 1. Create an empty diagram in Envision. You can use the New Diagram routine to create your empty diagram. But the easiest way to create a new empty diagram, in just the right place in the repository, is to create it as a subview. In this example, if we double-click on the subprocess object, we can create an empty diagram that we can use to define the tasks in that subprocess. And if we have drawn that process as a Visio diagram, then we can import it here. This is your new, an empty diagram. Step 2. Load Visio diagram. There are 2 ways to do this. Method 1. Drag and drop the Visio file onto your empty diagram. Method 2. Use the import routine that is on the File menu in Envision. If your Visio file just has one diagram, you can quickly drag and drop the Visio file onto your empty map. If your Visio file contains more than one diagram, then method 2 should be used. Method 1 entails just a drag and drop of your Visio file onto Envision. Wait while Envision starts Visio, and then analyzes the diagram. Visio was opened on another screen. Note the diagram is called Document 1. It is a temporary copy. The original is not affected. Envision presents the mapping screen. Manual mapping is described later in this video. You will probably use a mapping file that has been set up for you by the admin folks. You just open that mapping file. Visio shapes are matched with the ones in Envision. If your map is fully compliant with your BPMN stencil, all the mappings are done for you. All you have to do is press the Import button. Envision will now import the diagram. The bigger and the more complex the diagram, the longer this takes. It takes a while to get all the processing done. When the job is complete, you will get a message on the screen. Your diagram is now in Envision and is connected to all Envision functionality. You can edit it and add data to the property form for each object. When you check it in, it becomes available to other authorized users. This video illustrates a simple case. The diagram has immediately appeared exactly as it was in Visio. Often, it will be necessary for you just to tidy up the layout. For example, make the swim lanes the same size. Let's look at method 2. It's the Envision file import routine. Select Import Visio Diagram option that is on the File menu. Envision starts Visio, and then you open the Visio file that contains the diagrams, or maps, that you want to import. Display the required map in Visio. Then in Envision, click the Load Visio Diagram button. Envision examines the diagram and presents the Visio objects for matching with Envision objects. This time, let's look at the options that are available on this screen. You can load the saved mappings, as we did previously. Save the mappings, or links, as they now appear in an XML file. More on this in a moment. Delete all the current mappings on display, so you can start again. If you prefer not to drag and drop, you can highlight a value on the left and one on the right, and if you click the Create Map button, a relationship is created. The values are mapped. This button deletes all highlighted mappings on view. If you select Auto Map, then Envision will automatically match names that are the same. So, in this example, pool would be matched with pool. But end event would not match with end. If you select Resize Diagram, Envision will attempt to optimize the Envision diagram for the best view. This will optimize the dimensions of the diagram for handling in Envision. You may want to import your diagram onto a page that already contains some objects. If the Clear Diagram checkbox is unchecked, the import will add to the objects on the diagram. If it is checked, the import will replace anything on the diagram. The Import button takes you to the next stage. Finally, the Cancel button obliterates all your work on this screen. Manual matching is achieved by dragging an item on the left and dropping it onto the appropriate spot on the right, or vice versa. When you are finished, you can save the mappings if you think that you might use them again. If it's a one-off, then just click Import to go to the next stage without saving your mappings. Finally, some thoughts on the XML matching file. It's your productivity tool for the process. It speeds matching and usually enhances accuracy. It's possible your admin team will create this file for everyone to use on a shared drive, and you will not need to change it. On the other hand, you may find it necessary to add matching items to your file. You do this by clicking the Save Mappings button. As you save, you are given two options. Choose Yes if you would like to append new matching data to the file. Choose No, and you will overwrite the existing file. You could also save your file with a new name. Depending on your organization's rules, you may manage your own mapping files and store them locally.
So, what have we learned?
We have learned that we can easily upload diagrams created in Microsoft's Visio into Envision. Importing a diagram from Visio is a speedy 5-step process if we have used a Visio stencil for which an XML mapping file has been created. If there is just one diagram in our Visio file, we can just drag and drop it onto Envision to start the process. If there are multiple diagrams per file, then we upload them one at a time. There are a number of ways to map Visio objects to those in Envision. The most popular are using a mapping file that has been created to match BPMN terms in our Visio stencil with those on Envision. Next, manually, on an easy-to-use drag and drop screen, or automatically matching names that are identical. We learned that after the diagram has been created in Envision, we might need to tidy up the layout. Obviously, we can now edit all the objects in Envision, including adding data via the Properties sheet. And, of course, we should check the diagram in, so it can be used by others.
Envision is a secure BPMN diagram portal that can deliver secure document access, enabling users to progress their processes, documented in BPMN, towards maturity.